guy, but remember that was Easter weekend, so he pitched on Thursday to keep the other two pitchers on schedule. He still looked good on short rest. Cam Cayley. We mentioned his name a time or two, not just this weekend, but for the past couple of years. Former Baylor Bear leading things off here for his Cardinals.
Yeah, he is having an outstanding weekend. Cayley 4 for 7.
Cayley, Randall, and Beck, the top third of this order for the fifth-year head coach, Ryan Schatzberger. Schatzberger, who was a longtime assistant at the University of Houston during their time in the American Athletic Conference. Before that, at TCU up the road here in the Big 12. Cayley underneath this one. Out there in center's Ty Johnson. This ball continues to pull in towards the infield, but Ty gets underneath it, 1 away.
Yeah, much different setup today at Baylor Ballpark with the wind blowing slightly in. Last couple of days, wind was blowing out. Of course, we saw the power output by both of these teams, but Baylor accounting for 4 home runs yesterday, but a much different day today.
That'll give way to Grant Randall. Grant batting just below 300 in this, his senior campaign for UIW.
The outfielders are shortening up about 5 or 6 steps where they normally play with that wind blowing in. As you can see what it did to Cayley's first pop-up of the game.
Randall hitless so far this weekend, 0 for 6 against Baylor pitching. And Baylor looking for its second weekend series sweep of the season. This is the 8th game of the 8-game homestand. I mentioned it was an ominous start, a midweek loss against UTSA, and then that Thursday loss with Green on the mound against Cincinnati. A strikeout from Mason Green, his first of the ball game. But since those 2 losses here at home, they won the last 5. Mason Green trying to lead them to a 6th straight.
A nice changeup off the left arm of Green. Breaks down and away from the bat of Randall. Green records his first strikeout of the day.
Dalton Beck, 1 for 8 at the plate this weekend, make it 2 for 9. He'll find the 2-out base hit. The DH comes through for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Beck with the aggressive first pitch swing and gets the fastball out over the plate. Just pokes out in left field for first base hit for the Cardinals this afternoon.
That'll give way to the first baseman in the cleanup spot here, Ryan Scott, after Beck extends the first inning for at least another batter. Scott from the Colony here in Texas. Obviously UIW with a recruiting base throughout the state of Texas. Lots of talent within the San Antonio area as well. Every now and then venturing outside of the 210 to find some talent to compete in the Southland Conference.
A lot of transfers on this roster.
1 on, 2 outs. Green delivers. Count level at 1-1. As recently as the late 90s, UIW and NAIA program head coach Danny Heap, the former World Series champion with the Dodgers and Mets, would guide them into Division II, the Heartland Conference, the Lone Star Conference after they added football, and then nice transition to Division I a little over a decade ago. Of course, Eric Morris a few years ago, their head football coach before heading up to the Metroplex in North Texas, taking over the Mean Green. Again, they are still in their early stages in Division I, yet have got some nice results. That is a fair ball with 2 outs across the diamond to Plansky to Johnson, and that'll do it after the 2-out base hit from Dalton. Look there at Ty Johnson, helping anchor that outfield, one of 18 Bears who have made their green and gold debut this year. Significant turnover as Mitch Thompson still looking to really build this team in his image and get back to some of the great times they had with him in the dugout as an assistant coach.
Yeah, that's right. That was kind of the heyday of Baylor baseball back in the early 2000s up until Mitch left in 2012. And
De Jesus over the left side will test the arm of Tyreek Kemp, who passes that test with flying colors 101.
that's when Baylor was making, pretty normal appearances in the NCAA regionals. Of course, Mitch Thompson was also the recruiting coordinator back in the day and had the #1 recruiting class back in 05 in the country. Of course, now has brought over a couple of coaches he was familiar with at MCC, as well as former Baylor players. Jim Blair, the third base coach, Zach Dillon, the recruiting coordinator and former player for Thompson back in 05.
Here's J.D. Gregson, the junior. Product out of Frisco. Wakeland is going to send this one back to the warning track, but it'll die down in the glove of Ty Johnson, 2 away.
Now, yesterday, the ball may have had a chance, but today the wind was started out blowing slightly in from center field. It's kind of a dead flag at the moment. Gregson put the barrel on it, poked it deep into that center field part of the park, and just the wrong place to hit it today.
Flag right now just catching its breath. Sam Tormos will try to extend this inning. Mason Green has retired 5 of the first 6 batters he has faced in this Cardinal lineup today.
Baylor defensively, only the one switch at first base. It's been a bit of a revolving door for Mitch Thompson, but Will Pendergrass, who was injured in that Texas series a couple of weekends ago, and Mitch has had a few folks try out at first base. Cole Posey started the weekend there. Now Jack Johnson gets his first start as the Bears' first baseman.
Count 2-1 to the 7-hole hitter Tormos. Tormos started his career over at the University of Houston. Seem to like the color scheme, the Cardinal these days. Trying to extend this inning for Calabrese in the 8 spot. Ryder Hernandez rounding out the lineup. Mason Green still facing the Cardinal lineup for the first time today. It's a 5-pitch walk with 2 outs. Second straight inning. The Cardinals get a man on with 2 away.
Number 1, Daniel Calabrese.
Calabrese again in the 8-hole out of Colleyville, Texas. See his numbers on the year. He is batting even better. With 2 out, he's a .400 hitter this year. With a runner on right now, he's hitting .304 with at least one teammate on the base paths.
Has a couple of hits in the series so far.
This one straight back. Foul ball. Both these teams stepping outside of conference play this weekend. Cardinals will have a trip to Lake Charles, Louisiana to take on the Cowboys of McNeese for their next conference weekend. Before that, they'll have one matchup at Rice and another at Southern University on either side of the Texas-Louisiana border. With 2 outs and 1 on, a chance here as this one's going to get straight back. Count will stay at 1-2. Again, Baylor coming off that series win last weekend against Cincinnati after dropping the Thursday matchup, winning Friday and Saturday against the newcomers in the Big 12. That'll do it. Tyreek Kemp, a couple balls sent his way, comes through on each occasion, including others for the green and gold. Mason Green getting the start, family on hand.
Yeah, perfect day for baseball here at Baylor Ballpark. Man, it is just gorgeous. We played 2 today.
Drive home isn't that bad for UIW, why not?
Yeah.
Depending
Just
on
at
how
35.
I-35 feels.
That's right.
First pitch to the number 9-hole hitter, Ryder Hernandez, who's just now coming up for the first time to face Mason Green. Pulled foul. And it's back to Cam Cayley and Grant Randall at the top of the order.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping that all the Eclipse watchers have made their way to the Metroplex by now so they can clear it out after this game for us.
All of them have pulled over into the shoulder.
It's like every hotel room, every rental car has been booked out for a few weeks here in Central Texas.
O2 offering left side. Kemp has been perfect today. 1-1.
Yeah, plenty of tries so far. Kemp has
Center field number 15.
been called a wizard at shortstop by this Baylor coaching staff. They sure like what they have seen so far from the Baylor shortstop.
3 of the last 4 balls put into play have been sent over to the shortstop, Kemp. Here's Cam Cayley back at the top of the order. Remember, he had that precarious ball that was first looking like a fly out to center and then getting closer and closer to a pop out behind second base. Ty Johnson would get underneath it and secure it. This has a little more charge going into it. Johnson back towards the warning track, though. Same result.
Yeah, just as Cayley jumped into the box, that wind picked up from center field, and Cayley puts the barrel to the ball, but just got hung up in that wind. Easy enough out for Ty Johnson in center field.
Well, UIW, the last 2 innings, after the second out's been recorded, they've been able to find either a base hit or a walk. See if Grant Randall can continue that theme. They appeal and do not get the swing on Randall. Batting 154, pardon me, batting 303 this year is Grant Randall with 2 outs. So an out of play. Randall's overall batting average now, 289. 0 for 1 today with a strikeout against Green.
Yeah, still looking for his first hit of the series, and Baylor has pitched him well. They've typically gotten ahead and used the soft stuff away from him. It's been the issue, just trying to stay back, and that time he does.
Almost took the cap off of Mason Green. It'll wind up in center field for the second hit today for UIW. And Baylor continues to flirt with a 3-up, 3-down inning, but for the 3rd straight time, UIW able to extend the frame.
Yeah, Randall finally got an advantage count, got a fastball out over the plate, and did sail that right past the ear of Mason Green.
So hit for Randall. Gives way to Dalton Beck, who's 1 for 1 today with a single with 2 outs in the first. Beck hitting close to 400 with runners on base. 450 on the year with 2 outs. Done a nice job extending innings. Former Kansas State Wildcat. Grew up in Frisco.
Hit his 5th home run back on Friday night, and a couple more pokes out towards left field in yesterday's game, but had a chance to get out.
And a foul ball back behind the plate. Both teams scoreless despite a couple of base hits at the top of the 3rd. UIW has stranded 2, Baylor has stranded 3, including 2 last inning. As the toss over to first, and again, today's first baseman, Jack Johnson for Baylor. We've seen him on both corners this year.
And Randall a threat to run at first. Has 5 stolen bases in the season.
Don't think they'll challenge that call if safe, as Randall back in time. Mason Green still just 1 strike away from getting back to the dugout. Your DH Dalton Beck in the 3 spot for the Cardinals. 4th batter this inning. Single from Randall has extended things, and right now he has the attention of Green. Third throw over. The 1-2 to Beck. Stay right there.
Yeah, got inside with that fastball, and Baylor's tried to throw fastballs to Beck. Hard in, soft stuff away.
Ryan Scott is on deck, hoping he'll have a chance to come up with 2 on here in the third. Right now, Randall, your only base runner. This inning began with a ground out and a fly out. First 2 batters retired for a third straight inning. But for a third straight inning, the Cardinals able to extend things with 2 away. And it's now more balls thrown to first than thrown home since Dalton Beck has come to the plate.
Here's a really concerned about Grant Randall. It's a good count to run on, 1 and 2 if you're guessing breaking pitch as a base runner.
In the dirt, little kind of no man's land, throw down, not in time. Boy, Randall was a little hesitant committing to go to second, but apparently decides just in time to still beat the throw of Castle.
Good recovery by Court Castle. Had to make the block, and then, yeah, there's the hesitation from Randall. Almost cost him. It just gets that hand underneath the tag of Tyreek Kemp, and a great throw by Castle. Almost got it.
First runner in scoring position today for UIW. As Beck will work the count full with 2 outs.
Now, first base open, but you've got the lefty-lefty matchup, and Ryan Scott on deck. This is the guy that Mason Green wants to go after.
The payoff pitch.
And Beck just taps that breaking ball that was headed down and away. Keeps the at-bat alive.
Twelfth batter Mason Green has faced today, and Dalton Beck has one of the 2 hits so far. Looking to double up here. Now back up in the third, and the count's going to stay at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Beck doing a nice job of fouling off a couple of tough pitches from Mason Green, and that time goes back to that fastball in on his hands. A good battle between these 2.
I believe this is the 8th pitch of this at bat for Beck with 2 outs and 1 on. He's enjoying his time here in Waco.
He is. Spending lots of time in that left-handed batter's box.
Now there's a big difference between the glasses he's wearing and the ones you and I got on our way into the ballpark. You can still actually see something through those glasses.
That's right, yeah.
I did not appreciate just how opaque these solar eclipse glasses are going to be that we're wearing tomorrow.
Yeah, again, Beck spoiling pitches and really making Green work here. Saw Green kind of shake his head like, how did he even make contact there? The advantage typically starts to shift to the hitter in 10 pitch at bats.
Runner in scoring position, but with 2 outs. And for all we know, the scoreboard operator's gone for a walk at this point. Everything's locked in. 3 balls, 2 strikes,
Frozen.
2 outs. Scoreless ball game. Green delivers. Ball 4. An enthusiastic acceptance of that 4th ball by Dalton Beck.
Well, just an outstanding at bat for Dalton Beck. Didn't result in a hit, but you get 11 pitches, that drives the pitch count up, and now James Leverton is doing exactly what I thought he would do, is give Mason Green a rest and a chance to recalibrate, especially against Ryan Scott. You don't want to erase any frustration over that last at bat.
I mean, we could easily be talking about Mason Green working 3 full innings and still not even having 20 pitches. The problem is getting that 3rd out. And batter a moment ago in double-digit pitches alone. So instead of being in the teens, he's just shy of 50 pitches now here in the top of the third. Randall and Beck have both extended this third inning for Ryan Scott, your cleanup hitter, who's 0 for 1 with a ground out back in the first. The visit from Coach Leverton over.
Yeah, Green had 26 pitches coming into the third inning, now at 47. 11 of those pitches accounted for by Dalton Beck, and Ryan Scott a chance to try to put the Cardinals up on the board first.
Only third base unoccupied for the former Dallas Baptist man, former Blinn Junior College man, now the Cardinal at UIW, Ryan Scott. And UIW one of 2 Division I programs in San Antonio. They're one of 3 programs in San Antonio that at one point have called the Southern Conference home. Trinity University, now in D3, were founding members of that conference over 50 years ago. UTSA preceded UIW, where UTSA added football. And we're going to run out of baseballs pretty soon here.
That's right. And about 15 foul balls between Beck and Scott.
Let's go see if over at Getterman they have some of those yellow spheres and see if anybody notices the difference. Still 2 outs. Not chasing that one.
Yeah, Green tried to change up that time, and Scott able to hold the swing.
Grant Randall had the 2-out single. Behind him, Dalton Beck. The 2-out walk. Well foul. So again, at this point yesterday, UIW was down by 6. Back on Friday at this point, they were down 8-2. They have a chance to strike first here on this Sunday, battling here in the third inning. Oh, and Scott takes a tight one.
Yeah, it looked like strike 3, and I think Court Castle popping up like he wanted to throw the pick off to second base may have blocked the vision of Durantes, home plate umpire, and it looked like it may have caught the outside corner.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, this time with 2 base runners aboard for the Cardinals. Back-to-back walks, bases are loaded. All 3 men have reached with 2 outs here in the third. And yet Baylor could still get out of this inning without any damage done. But you're in the meat of the lineup right now.
And it's a 28-pitch inning now for Green, and Baylor will get that bullpen going. You see a few players trot down to get loose. R.J. Rue among that trio.
Well, I thought Dave Aranda was missing a couple of guys. Looked like a linebacker and a tight end heading that way. This shot to the left side. Tyreek Kemp able to get Baylor through that one as Tony DeJesus retired for that elusive third and final out. Cardinals bring 6 to the plate, but Strand, the bases loaded. Is it a pitcher's duel?
Oh yeah, it is to this point. It's quite a different scenario than the first couple of days.
A lot of base runners, but no runs on the board. So that means you still had that fine margin of error.
Well, a 29-pitch inning last inning for Mason Green. He's looking for something a little more efficient this inning as he faces the bottom 4.
J.D. Gregson flied out to center back in the second. 0 for 1 today. He is .375 on the year when leading off an inning. Just a little above his standard batting average of .309. Gregson, Tormos, and Calabrese. The minimum due up Neither pitcher has seen the minimum as of yet today. Now, if we only had 2 outs per inning, we'd be
Be a different game.
on our way to our cars in the parking lot. Yeah. It's that elusive third out that has given both head coaches some gray hairs.
And last pitch caught a lot of flesh of Court Castle, the forearm, and so Michael Durantis giving him a chance to catch his breath.
The 1-2. This will get down. Third base hit for the Cardinals. First on the day for J.D. Gregson.
And a good piece of hitting from Gregson to start the inning. It's a fastball that was heading towards that outside corner. Didn't quite get there. Came back towards the middle of the plate. Gregson able to square it up for a leadoff hit.
Cardinals have had 5 base runners before this inning. None of them reached before there were 2 outs. So already off to a much better start. Let's see if they can move J.D. Gregson around. Tormos walked back in the second and was left on base. One of 5 runners left on by the visiting team. Tormos hitless on the year with runners on base. We'll try to change that here. Baylor hoping for 2. Did he pull the foot off the bag? No. Able to keep it on there. Jack Johnson able to maintain contact just long enough. Tyreek Kemp got it all started.
Yeah, a little too nonchalant from Daniel Altman on the turn there, but it looked like an easy 6-4-3, but Tormos made it close at first base, and Johnson able to keep that foot on the bag, and he returns another double play in this series.
So all of a sudden, Mason Green hoping to face the minimum, if not a perfect inning. Here's Daniel Calabrese, 0 for 1 today, grounded out to end the second. Cardinals stranded 1 in the first, 1 in the second. Bases loaded for both teams last inning. Each waiting until 2 outs before they started putting runners on. We thought this was a more promising start for UIW with the leadoff single for Gregson, but he's now back in the dugout after the double play. J.D. Gregson was not going to be called for interference down the baseline. He was halfway into right field.
That's right.
To get out of any kind of throw of Tyreek Kemp.
Kind of a better move just to get out of the way after you see that ball hit right at the shortstop.
The 3-0 offering in there for a strike to Calabrese. Batting .375 on the year with 2 outs. .333 batting average overall.
Green would like nothing better than retire Calabrese to end the inning so he can face Ryder Hernandez to start the 5th before he flips the lineup over for the 3rd time.
Again, the payoff pitch with 2 outs. And again, Baylor has yet to find the 3rd out immediately following the 2nd. Calabrese is aboard.
The third baseman, number 14, Ryder Hernandez.
Mason Green just fell behind. Calabrese had to come in with a couple of fastballs, and that time he squares the full count fastball up, and Mitch Thompson has seen enough. He is going to make the change.
So Baylor starting pitchers the first 2 days went 5 innings for a combined 4 earned runs. No runs.